All right, so last time we started 3.5, just enough to give you a flavor of what these diagrams kind of are going to look like, right? And the slide that we had already looked like this. And we talked about 3 different ways that we can draw an Euler diagram, right? And each of them had a keyword. We had not talked about this when we left off last time. So the first diagram has one circle inside of another one. The second one has 2 circles that are overlapping, and the third one has 2 circles that are completely unconnected or disjoint from one another. So does anyone see the 3 keywords? There's one keyword in each of these sort of descriptions for how you know how you're going to draw one of these diagrams. All, some, and none. So when we see those phrases, they tell us what our diagram is going to do, right? All right, so as we take a look at these, let's take an example, first one. Our goal is to decide whether the argument is valid or invalid. I haven't told you how we're going to do that yet, but we're going to take these 3 sentences and we're going to establish whether it's valid or invalid based on our diagram. All right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the first sentence and we're going to draw a diagram based on that sentence. So this says, all politicians lie, cheat, and steal. Okay? So let me first take a step back and make the claim that we're not establishing whether we believe or disbelieve any of these statements. All right? We're establishing whether the claims are valid. That means that they logically follow from one step to the other. Okay, so it's not true or false. It's not what we're doing. We're talking about whether the argument is valid or invalid, the way it's structured. All right? So first one says, all politicians lie, cheat, or steal. That tells us how to draw the Euler diagram. How are we going to draw it? One inside the other. So we're going to start with a picture that has 2 circles, one inside the other. And the inside circle is going to be represented by the first piece of information in our sentence. So the inside circle is going to represent what category or what description? Politicians. So on the inside we've got politicians. What would I label or what could I label as outside circle?
Men.
Not just men. It's more specific. Liars, cheaters, and stealers. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, so how about I say something like this? We'll do people who lie, cheat, and steal. Does that make sense? I mean, that's the second part of this description, right? This idea about lying, cheating, and stealing is something that's a descriptor of people, some kind of people anyway, right? We're all good so far? Okay, that's the first sentence. The first sentence gave us this picture. Sentence number 2 here, right here. We'll do that one next. It says, that man lies, cheats, and steals. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down to the side, pick your favorite letter. I'm going to use X because I'm a math person, so that's got to be my favorite letter, right? Okay, good. We're all clear on that. All right, so X equals, so in this case, X is going to equal that man. And if you've been given somebody as a name, that would even be better, and we could say Joe or, Jack or whatever. So X is that man. And what we're going to do with the X is we're going to put it into the location that it's best describing or that it could have been described as being in. So this one says that man lies, cheats, and steals. So where could the X go?
Go inside the politician circle or inside the lie, cheat, and steal circle?
You got it, Colt. Excellent. So it could go in either of these locations, right? We don't have anything that tells us which one of them, but it could go in either of those spots. Make sense? Okay, that second sentence says it could go in either one of those spots, at least it's a possibility. So then our question is whether or not we can make the claim for sure that the man is a politician. And we can't. So this
that would be invalid.
Exactly. So this argument would be invalid. So if we can't for sure say, because of where we've located the X, that it fits the last description, then the argument is an invalid argument. Make sense? Okay, we're going to try another one. All right, so this one says, some nurses wear blue uniforms. That's the first sentence. That tells me how to draw my overall picture. How will I draw it? 2 circles that overlap. So something like this. What are the categories that those circles represent? Okay, so nurses, Ethan's got me in a nurses circle. What else do I have?
Uniform nurses.
Not blue uniform nurses.
People who wear blue uniforms.
Wait, no.
We're not ready for D. Boyle yet. It's something about blue uniforms, but what is it? People who wear them, right. So the other circle is going to be people who wear blue uniforms. Okay, so this would include more than nurses, even though it's describing nurses in this. This could include Walmart employees, right? They wear their blue vests. Yeah. This could include the postal service people, right? They wear blue sometimes. Okay, so it includes other people too. All right, so our next statement, though, is going to involve D, right? So what are we going to do to involve D? What did we do last time when we got to the second sentence? We do. We made it X equals. So X equals what? D. Boyle. D. Boyle. And it says D. Boyle is a nurse, so where could the X go? Okay, out here. Anywhere else it could go? It could go in the middle, because either of those locations are inside of the circle that's describing nurses, right? Okay, so that's my second sentence. It gives me this picture with my yellow. The third sentence says D. Boyle wears a blue uniform.
We can't be certain about that.
Could she?
But she could.
She could, but she also
Couldn't.
couldn't. She doesn't have to, right? So the argument is invalid. All right, so be sure when you're working these problems that you show me both things. Number one, you show me the Euler diagram, the picture of what's going on. And then you have to actually answer the question, which is valid or invalid. Don't just leave me hanging wondering what in the world we had, as our answer when we're done. All right, number 3. All disc jockeys play music. How am I going to draw my picture? One inside the other. All right. Now I've got one inside the other. What is on the inside?
DJs.
The DJs, the disc jockeys, right? So it's always the statement that comes after, or the description that comes after the word all. That's what goes inside. So this piece right here are my DJs. What's the outer circle going to be describing? People who play music. All right, next step is what?
Flash Phelps.
What am I going to do with Flash Phelps, Leah?
Place her in the DJ circle.
We have to do something before we can place him in there. What do I need to do? Can anybody help her out? We need to label him as X. Okay, so we've got X equals Flash Phelps. And then where do you want to put him, Leah?
In the DJ circle.
Right, because it says he's a disc jockey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the only place he can go with that description?
Yep.
Yes, because the only place that the DJs are is inside this particular circle. If I put an X anywhere else, it would not satisfy that description, right? All right, last sentence then says, Flash Phelps plays music.
That
Valid.
is what makes it
It's
valid.
valid. This one's valid, right? Because the location of the X is entirely inside the big outer circle that says people who play music. Make sense? Okay, so this one is valid. All right, the next one, you guys have a picture, those of you who printed your notes out, and let me draw the picture in. The picture starts out looking like this. So this is what was printed on your paper. If you don't have it, you can jot it down. So this is our picture, and we're doing kind of the opposite of what the last questions did. We're being given an Euler diagram, and we're going to construct a valid argument based on that diagram. Okay? So we need two sentences, we need the line, and then we need the concluding statement that was all going to be valid according to this diagram. So what's one statement I can make?
Well, the first statement is definitely to notice that all cat lovers are pet lovers.
Right. And so Leah's correct. Why would that make sense? Someone else? Right. We have these embedded circles, one inside the other. So we're going to go with that all statement, right? And the circle that's inside is just the description of the cat lovers. So we have all cat lovers are pet lovers. There's my first sentence. Now, someone else tell me the second sentence I could write.
Some pet lovers are cat lovers.
Not quite. There you go. The second sentence has to do with the letter X. Where is it and who does it represent? What is it talking about? And so this X is actually represented by Jessica Long. So what do we know about Jessica Long? She loves cats. So is a cat lover or loves cats, something like that.
Is it not a pet lover because the X is in?
Exactly.
Okay.
The X is only in one location, and that location specifically talks about cat lovers. However, my next statement is going to say something about pet lovers. What's it going to say? Jessica's a pet lover as well.
Because
Yes.
it's in both circles.
Exactly.
Okay.
It almost looks just like problem number 3 that we did, right? But we did it reversed here. So Jessica Long is a pet lover. Does that make sense? Okay on that? Yes.
Is the X always going to come from the second sentence?
Yes, it is. And there are other ways that we could describe it. So Colt mentioned the word some. Sometimes you'll see that second sentence actually have the word some or all in it. I mean, and that's okay. But it's still going to be the easiest if you say X equals the description that they're talking about and figuring out where to put it or where it was already put. Yeah. All right, here's one more. Last one in this section. Decide whether the argument's valid or invalid. What's different about this one? Say it again louder. It's got more than two sentences at the beginning before that line, hasn't it? So we got a little bit more going on. It's going to start the same way, though. The first sentence says, again, I don't care whether you think it's true or false. That's not the point, okay? But it says, all people who drive contribute to air pollution. So what am I going to do as far as my picture? Two circles within each other. Okay. And what is the inside circle going to say? Which one is it? Is it the air pollution or is it the people who drive? How do we decide? Which one's first and which one is first? Yeah, people who drive. So this piece right here is going to go inside. So I'm going to write drivers. You can write people who drive if you want, but it's the same thing, right? All right. Which means the outside is what?
People who contribute.
You could say people who contribute to air pollution. You could also say things that contribute to air pollution, but we want to describe it in one of those ways. I'll use what you gave me. It's Holly, right? Okay, so we're going to say people. So this is people who pollute the air. How's that? Contribute to air pollution. They pollute the air. Okay, so that's the first sentence. We've got it written and we've got it drawn and it's awesome, and then we're going to go back and we're going to look at the second one. The second one says, all people who contribute to air pollution make life a little worse.
We're going to need a bigger
We're
circle.
going to need a bigger circle. Where's that bigger circle going to go, Leah?
It's going to around the circle that shows people who contribute to air pollution.
Yeah, does everybody see why she's saying that? The second sentence says that the people who contribute to air pollution should be a circle inside of a bigger circle talking about making life a little worse. Okay? So I can take what I've already drawn and I can simply draw a larger circle around the description. So what is my outside picture going to be now? Or my outside circle's description going to be? People who make life a little worse. That's all right, Tara. So we've got people who make life worse. Man, those people, tell you what. All right, that's my first sentence and my second sentence. My third sentence, what do you think I'm going to do when I get there? So you asked the question before, Emily. What am I going to do? You're going to make an X. So this sentence right here is going to be X equals something. X equals what?
People who live in the suburbs.
People who live in the suburb. You can put the word some or you cannot put the word some. It really doesn't matter. But X is the suburb people. Okay? We'll put the word some just so that it matches. So X is some people in the suburbs. Okay, so that's what X is. That's the description. And what does it say about those people?
They only make life a little worse.
They make life a little worse. That's the description we've got about them, right? So where could I put my X? You could put it inside the biggest circle. Anywhere else I could put it?
The medium circle or the smallest circle.
I could put it anywhere because all I know is it has to be inside the big circle, but I don't know if it has to or could be inside any of the others. So these are all possible locations for X. With me? So the question then says at the end, or the statement says at the end, some people who live in a suburb drive.
We don't know that.
We don't know that, do we? Could they? They could. Do they have to? No. So the argument is invalid. Any questions on these arguments or these diagrams? All right.